Hello, welcome to another exciting edition of Inside LP. We are here on the third night of Comic Con, which is traditionally on Saturday night, not every year, but sometimes, mostly, is headlined by Marvel Studios. Going inside LP, getting into Hall H is a pain. Even even they'll turn away people that even have passes because it's full. So. I was in there all day, sat through some terrible stuff, or at
Hey,
least
the
stuff that.
Superman and Lois one was good. The Star Trek
Yeah,
one was half good.
I like the Star Trek one. Superman Lois was fine. Um, Actually, the women panel was good like half the time
Yeah,
when it wasn't just like
them yelling.
yeah, and then the Berserker thing is just not my cup of tea, and the
The
Penguin thing just
Penguin.
looked bad.
Yeah, the Penguin is coming out of the Batman movie, the one from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. He did a good job in his three scenes in the movie, as they discussed. So it was such a good thing. They're giving him an 8-part miniseries on HBO Max, or Max, as we're calling it now. The entire panel was more. I think they spent 15 minutes talking about the side of his face that has a scar that looks like a bird beak, and
Yeah, I fell asleep.
yeah, it was
So.
just before the Marvel panel, so it was we were all like, I was around a lot of people in back, and everybody's like, "What?"
I was actually hoping the bathroom line was going to be longer just to give me something to be distracted, um, but it wasn't. So anyway, Marvel Studios begins, and so a lot of these panels, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Q&A, like audience
Oh,
Q&A,
let's not even
because they
talk.
always ask the same like weird question, like if you weren't doing this role, what role would you want? Or what's the thing you like most about your character? Or, I mean, and it's just stupid stuff I have to ask in interviews all the time. But like, it just it's not, to me, it's not insightful. Like, so what I like about Marvel Studios is they don't pretend like to go through Q&A. They just ask the questions they want to reveal. It's more produced, more, they know what they want to share and they find ways to share it. So it's more of a show than it is Comic-Con panel. It's one thing when you're doing like actual comics where you have illustrators and writers, and you're gonna get a little bit more. But a lot of times when these things, you're either gonna get, oh, they're not. If I say anything, they're gonna fire me, or them pretending to care about your question. So starts with what would you call that? Gospel choir?
Yeah, it started with the Marvel Studios opening scroll from
That's
Deadpool
right. Yeah.
Wolverine, and then as they called it, the Deadpool choir came out singing like a prayer, and then we had a parade of Deadpools, which was
I
very.
saw a Bob Ross Deadpool. I saw a Woody Deadpool. I saw a Greatest Showman Deadpool. Uh,
I know that I think I got tweeted out the Bob Ross one and some of the other ones. Like, I was able to capture some of that in the back, but it was interesting, especially like, they just pretty much announced, hey, as of a few minutes ago, it's the number one R-rated opening movie ever, and it's on track to beat the original Deadpool.
yeah, we just put up some video of it so you can see it. You don't need to listen to us yammer on about it.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I don't want to go into spoilers here, but I was impressed on, I was thinking like, okay, they're gonna want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, but not everyone here has seen it, and I kind of felt they masterfully dealt with that as they paid homage to it, but they didn't feel the need to uh, go all the way with it. So I'm just going to read this comment right here. I saw Deadpool last night. Fourth wall took me out of the movie, but otherwise really enjoyed it. It's kind of the Deadpool thing. But I used to go to Comic-Con every year. Then it got really hard to get passes, and it's really hard to get into Hall H. You are absolutely right. It is very hard to get into Hall page. I don't. It's especially on Marvel Day. However, I will say this year you were able to get wristbands even up to like 7:30, so it wasn't as hard as it's been in the past. But I know we lost Jeremiah, but we'll continue on. So they kind of framed this as that we were going to talk about the 3 movies of 2025 from Marvel Studios, which was Captain America: Brave New World. I got the poster right here. So you can see the Red Hulk cans around it. So we'll start with that one. Obviously, Anthony Mackie's there and the rest of the cast from it. And they showed a new scene where we learn that the eternal creature thing from Eternal is actually made out of they can get vibranium out of it, or it's made of adamantium. So it brings adamantium into the MCU, and it is so that was kind of a big moment. And then we see the Red Hulk. We see Thunderbolt Ross, played by Harrison Ford, transform into the Red Hulk, and we get the chance to see that, see what that looks like. But then they brought out Harrison Ford, who did the whole Hulk thing. That moment. Give me 1 second to get queued up. And here we go. So Harrison's back. Harrison Ford is in the MCU. Actually, Jeremiah, usually I remember Harrison Ford when he was at these things always just sort of acting like he didn't want to be there. But he seemed to have some real excitement for this.
Yeah, he was very excited. And he talked louder than normal. That was one of those, I think it's mostly we were more excited that he was just there because, Harrison Ford has kind of famously become a grumpy old man, and him showing up and walking out and being excited and just the smile on his face shows he's excited to be part of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see. It's, obviously William Hurt's passing kind of impacted this whole thing, but, it's nice that they've been able to turn a unfortunate situation into, I don't want to say positive, but find a way to kind of, build upon it. So it's, we saw the scene. I briefly described the whole adamantium thing. Mm-hmm. But what's your take on Captain America: Brave New World?
So the first trailer, I love Anthony Mackie. He is an amazing actor. He's lots of fun. The Winter Soldier and that show, which I can't think of the full name of it right now.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes. Sorry, I forget Falcon at this point. He's now just Cap. I love that show. There was a lot of good things that came out of it. I'm excited that this is carrying on from it. And Anthony Mackie is great. The Serpent Society is really cool to have as their villain that they are bringing in. But overall, the first trailer didn't catch my attention. The Red Hulk was it. This footage that we saw, I got so excited over all of it. And I love that I think it's going to make it feel much more like the Winter Soldier picture. It's more that Cap story, not the superhero Cap, fighting the Red Skull type stuff.
So when we're done, I'm going to ask you to rate the 3 2025 movies, but we're not done yet.
Okay.
But next was, I believe, Thunderbolts, which is a little confusing because Harrison Ford is Thunderbolt Ross, but he's not in Thunderbolts. So
But hey,
you know.
they said, when you have a company that's been around for 65 plus years or 60 plus years, they name stuff over again, and that was their explanation of why it isn't Thunderbolts. But I'm guessing that we're still going to see Thunderbolt Ross probably show up in it somehow.
I mean, I wouldn't complain, but like, I think it's they did not reveal what the asterisk is. I know in the title it's always Thunderbolts with an asterisk. Even the hat that Kevin wore yesterday to the Marvel Fanfare panel had the asterisk in it. So sort of the big question here. I will say we got David Harbour showing up in costume as the Red Guardian. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Not the only guy we got in costume, but one of them. And they showed us a scene. It's hard to kind of piece together. It sounds like they're kind of putting a team of villains, but not terrible villains. Villains that will protect you from even worse villains. We did meet this character Bob, who they didn't quite reveal what his deal is. I mean, we knew obviously, what what's his name? Dude, I'm trying to blank on what the second Captain America's name is. Scott Walker? No. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. What's this commercial?
We're presented to you by Nike. But what was I gonna say? And obviously Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing the Contessa.
Yeah,
is exciting, but still feeling this one out. I feel like we have a good handle of what Captain America: Brave New World is. It's also the next one to come out, so it makes more sense. But still trying to figure this one out. John Walker, thank you, Kyle.
The thing that came out of that for me was it's somebody is trying to off the members that form the Thunderbolts, because that footage we saw is them fighting each other, which I thought was a really cool scene. It's them walking into a giant office room and just fighting each other. Then they discover, oh wait, somebody's trying to kill us, and then they form the team to go find out who's trying to kill them. And but I did enjoy they teased what the asterisk is, and they're like, nope, go see the movie. Maybe at D23.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, we have D23 coming up, so who knows what that's gonna mean. But anyway, Thunderbolts coming out sometime in 2025. But then we also moved on to Fantastic Four, which is not filming yet. It is actually filming starting Tuesday. So they had the cast fly out from London where they're doing some pre-shoot stuff. And, they did the whole thing like, oh, they're in London, but they still came. Well, I mean, which is fun. I mean, they should always do that. That's never overplayed. But
by pre-shoot, there was a full prologue of the film, like right up to the point where they launched. They said, like, oh, this isn't final. This is animatics. It was like, it was them suiting up as the astronauts. It started off with Mr. Fantastic in a classroom teaching kids, and they're all look bored, and they go, do you want to see something big explode? And they all yell, and it turns to a jet engine, launches it, and then it kicks into all of them forming the astronaut team, and then taking off. And I have a completely different take on what this movie is going to be, and I think it'll be a great swerve if they do it my way, but we'll see.
Well, and I think as Disney fans, there's definitely this takes place in a different universe, so to speak. An alternate timeline, not ours, not the MCU we know, but it takes place in the '60s, so it gives us very 64 World's Fair, Carousel of Progress, sort of early Epcot vibes. They did give us this,
the classic, which is that is a classic souvenir from the 65 World's Fair. They would sell these and give them out to guests that would have previews of what was coming. And this, like, I haven't gotten to break mine out yet, but it shows the team, and it has a map of Manhattan in this time. But yeah, they definitely refer to it as the multiverse, and they brought them out, which was a surprise because Pedro Pascal did tweet out, I'm sure is again a swerve, the photo of them all together. Very Fantastic Four like that photo was.
Yeah. Yeah, just totally cool. I mean, obviously we've seen many versions of Fantastic Four cinematically, but I don't know, it kind of feels like this is the one that it feels like they're paying tribute to the fact that they're Marvel's first family. So they're paying tribute to their family. They've paid tribute to the fact that they're first, in terms of that kind of vibe, but then also trying to fit in the MCU. So, Matt Shankman, who directed all the episodes of WandaVision, obviously knows how to create sort of a different aesthetic to that Marvel universe. So I'm really excited about this one. And, I'm going to fast forward this video a little bit just because
the coolest thing that could happen in Hall H.
Yeah, this. So, by the way, movie's name officially, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. And here we go. There is the Fantastic.
Yeah, this was like they were all saying how they needed to get back for filming, and this was one of those things that I was in the back, so couldn't see well. So I'm watching it from this angle, thinking, "Oh, it's on an arm and it's moving," and then all of a sudden it goes in front of the screen, and then like it took me probably 6 or 7 views of different videos before I finally figured out that it's a blimp.
Yeah, it's I've seen like David Copperfield do this, but then he's in the theater he owns. Like this is very impressive.
Yeah, it was there's another angle that you can see, and you may be able to see it. There's one guy that just kind of catches it and just brings it down. I was like, oh, okay, it's a balloon. That's why it's not a drone, so they can fly it over everybody. But yeah, that was really cool. I love that part of the panel because I'm super excited for the Fantastic Four.
So they promised that we were going to get the news of the 2025 films, and those are the 3 2025 films. So before we get on to beyond 2025, rate them. You anticipate, I mean, not obviously the quality of them, but your anticipation for them.
I mean, Thunderbolts, because we don't know enough. I think that will be amazing, but right now that's probably number 3. I think because Fantastic Four is still so far away, I'm going to give that 2. Brave New World, when I first saw the trailer from last week, I was like, okay, that looks interesting. I love Winter Soldier, so that type of plot really appeals to me. But then answering about the Celestial, Adamantium, Red Hulk, I think this could be a game changer, just like Winter Soldier was to the DC or to the DCU. They're going to cross over there to the MCU. So I'm going to go with the next movie is number 1, Fantastic Four, then Thunderbolts asterisk.
See, I'm going Fantastic Four number 1 just because I just love. I mean, I love that part of Iron Man 2 that was very Walt Disney. I mean, even Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic, gives a little bit of Walt vibes.
Yeah,
he's more scientific, almost more Howard Hughesy, but there's a fine line. But then I would go Captain America, Brave New World, and then Thunderbolts. Yeah. Now, obviously, I don't. We've seen they haven't started filming Fantastic Four yet, but and they're all in different phases of production. But that, as of this moment, is, and I will probably be wrong because I am about these things. You could look back at when I ranked the Star Wars shows, and I was way, way off. So, but that's my anticipation level now. But then Kevin said, let's talk more about what's beyond it. Let's talk about the next 2 adventure films in 2025. And so they brought back. Now we knew that the Russo brothers were coming back. Kind of got leaked to the trades, but they did a whole thing of showing like a sizzle reel of their films from Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War, and they were talking about, okay, why did they come back? well, they were, the whole multiverse saga and doing Secret Wars is really what led them to this place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Secret Wars was announced previously. However, the Kang Dynasty was going to be the film that kind of led into that. Obviously, real world things get in the way, but perhaps for the best. So they announced that the film leading into Secret Wars is now going to be.
I know you got to get there. Worth the reveal.
Doomsday. So it's going to involve a Kryptonian.
No. That's Superman and Lois from earlier in the day.
There
was
a lot of Doomsday.
Yeah, the Russos.
So they brought out all these disciples. They brought out these disciples of Doom,
or the Legion of Doom,
and they're talking about. And they talk about how they need to get the world's best actor to portray Victor Von Doom, and I'm racking my brain. Who could it possibly be? Like, who is the best actor in the world? Like who's like, I'm thinking like someone who would never do a Marvel movie, maybe, like in the Laurence Olivier type. I mean, I just couldn't conceive of who it would be. And then the disciples,
the
Legion of Doom part.
Can you put up the volume on the video so this can be?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Watch him walk over to Kevin, and the smile on his face.
New mask. Same task. What did I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Wow. Look at his face.
Wow.
So, didn't see that coming. Never in a million years saw that coming. Now, Tony Stark has played a version of Doctor Doom before. He's also Tony Stark has also, been tied to Kang, and before. So they're all one sort of supreme nexus being. But that's amazing, right?
It was like. So I'm in the back, and I was doing the same thing when they're doing that, and we're all kind of leaning forward, and like, what's it? And he steps forward, and I've been in enough of these panels where I don't know every single actor in the world, and I'm in the back, so I'm just like, whoa. As soon as he lifts the mask, I was on my feet. I don't even know how I did it, and screaming at the top of my lungs. It was just. I've been in the room where it happens for a bunch of these. You and I have both shared spots. I would say that was probably the biggest one that we've seen, because RDJ coming back to the MCU is groundbreaking. Him being Victor Von Doom, not everybody keeps saying, oh, he's a variant Tony Stark. I don't think that's a proper term to use, because he's not Tony Stark who became evil. He's Victor Von Doom. They even say it in that in that announcement. So yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I and we could talk all day about this and try and figure it out and how they're going to explain it, and I don't care really, like when the time comes, the time will come. I mean, I'm just going to go for the ride. I don't need headcanon on this quite yet.
Yeah.
I want it to make sense when it happens, but it doesn't need to be this moment that it all makes sense to me. I trust the Russos. I trust Kevin.
Exactly. The Russos, like, that was the selling point. Like, I think I don't want to say, not Kevin. I think if any other director or directors were coming in for this, and they did something like this, I don't think I would have the faith that, okay, we're not going to have to worry about any missteps. But the Russos have the record that, we're good. We're good. We can just, like you said, go along for the ride and enjoy it till it's over. and I want a Doom mask now.
Kiki and Luca said the best actor of all is Daniel Day-Lewis. You're probably not wrong. I don't see him doing it, but she did meet Robert Downey Jr. at the Mr.
Doodle.
Doolittle, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's happy he shaved his beard. Obviously Mr. Von Doom is known for wearing a mask. So we'll see how this all plays out.
Mr. Von Doom.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Von Doom.
Yeah, I picture like seeing, him in his basement working, he like hammering the helmet like he did in Iron Man 1 for the Mach 1, but he lifts it and it's the Von Doom mask.
We got and then we got to do this all over again in 2 weeks. I mean, it won't be Marvel focused. It'll be the whole Disney company, but they got something to say, right? I mean, we had nothing about Disney Plus today, nothing about Agatha All Along, nothing about Daredevil, nothing about what's the other one? Ironheart, or anything else that we know is coming from the MC, the Disney Plus. But nothing about Blade. I'm gonna leave it there in case you haven't been to the movies lately. Yeah, I think this is a win, right? I mean, last time we did this is a restate. We went through the entire Infinity Saga, some of which didn't happen as planned. The timing definitely didn't happen as planned, due to sort of a desire to kind of take a step back and calm everything down and be a little bit more purposeful. But at the same time, obviously streaming businesses changed. So, that I don't want to say that was a failure, because it's not, but it was it's definitely not. It didn't execute as we thought, and this may not too. I mean, things will change. Obviously, last time we were here, we're talking all about the King Dynasty, and that didn't happen. So, but it's okay to be excited to be optimistic, and quite frankly, a lot of times when things don't play out the way we thought, they end up playing out better. And I obviously, I don't wish the situation with Jonathan Majors happened, but since it did, this seems to be an excellent way to work around it.
Yeah, as somebody was asking me, it's like, so what are they going to do with that story? I was like, really, they don't have to do much with that story. I mean, they could just, and again, this could still somehow tie into a Kang storyline as it goes, because it is variants and the time and universe traveling. But I don't think we're going to see a heavy Kang. Maybe Kang is out there and all of a sudden you just see Dr. Doom walk up behind him and just break his neck.
Yeah. This is all that needs to happen. I mean, Victor Von Doom can do whatever he wants. And it's funny because with Galactus appearing in Fantastic Four First Steps.
Oh, I completely forgot about that part.
We have a whole lot of world dominating things happening. So there'll be time for analysis, time to break things down. But I'm just going to enjoy the afterglow of a wonderful hour or so in Hall H. That was a lot of work to get into, but worth every moment.
Yes. By the way, this shirt couldn't have worked any better. Thank you to Roosevelt for putting out the perfect Marvel team shirt, and it does have. I can't see. I believe Dr. Doom is right there. The Fantastic Four is on here. Like this shirt, I knew it was going to be a perfect shirt to wear, but my prediction was we were going to maybe see the cast today of Fantastic Four. Then I was guessing, at D23, the ultimate Disney fan, we would learn who Doom was, not ending the show with the biggest pop that you heard there.
When they said, we're going to bring in Dr. Doom, I was like, okay, great. And I was like, well, they just hired these guys. Like, there's no way they have Victor cast already, you know. And I mean, because you don't want to cast somebody in that, especially in this situation, and then have them not work out. But obviously, you have Robert Downey Jr. has proven himself in this whole kind of thing, and it's a lot. It's a lot to process. It's going to be a late night, as I dream of Doom and
flying in the fantastic car.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun journey. It's going to it's going to be fun. Marvel's back.
Yeah.
And it's in the post sort of Chapek era, strike era, whatever you want to call it. Whether as Deadpool said, maybe not the highest point, but as far as I'm concerned, we are getting back where we need to be. We'll see how these things all play out. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was a great first step, and hopefully Agatha continues it, and we'll keep going through Captain America and Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Avengers. We don't have, if I'm not mistaken, we don't have 2026 films lined up.
No.
So maybe we'll get a little bit of that at D23 too, because
it's the timeline. That's their normal MO, is the timeline, and there wasn't any of that. One of the things that I'm most excited about is we're coming out of that, I don't want to say dark period of the Marvel films, but the Marvel films that many people kind of just wrote off. And once they talked about the Celestial in A Brave New World, like, that's okay, good. We're finally getting what we missed in all these films, is it's all connected. And it'll make me excited to go watch the Eternals again.
Well, all I gotta say is the worst Marvel project I heard about today looked a whole lot better than the Penguin. So, thank you, Jeremiah. I know there's more happening at Comic-Con. You can check out Laughing Place all day.
Yeah.
But we need to get some rest because we still got some Comic-Con tomorrow. We won't be live streaming tomorrow because we all have to fly back home. But we'll be a lot happening next week too. You would think like, oh, it's the week before D23. Everyone's just gonna be getting ready for D23. No, we got 3 days of Destiny fun. So we'll be live and doing all this all over again. But for now, thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to doing this again next year. Because keep in mind, odds are, I haven't exactly confirmed it, but I think Comic-Con is going to be basically right as Fantastic Four is coming out.
Oh no, they said 1 year from today, Fantastic Four will be released.
Yeah, and I'm just confirming when Comic-Con is next year. Yeah, so
it's Deadpool. Okay, I'm winning the ticket next year for the Fantastic Four TBA panel and the.
Yeah, I hope I get into that. Yeah, July 24th to 27th, 2025. If they do that again, I really hope I get it. It'll look like a lot of fun. But alas, we'll see what happens. We got a lot going on. We got 2 D23s between now and then. We got New York Comic-Con. We've got WonderCon. We've got.
I can't wait for New York Comic-Con at this point. If Marvel decides to move back into New York Comic-Con with the panel.
Even if they don't, though, I mean, just the excitement. It's one thing to have a panel, but the excitement around it will be. Feel it.
Okay.
Good night. Thanks for joining. Bye, everybody.
Like, subscribe.